What's going on, everybody? It is your host, Dr. Splash. We are back. I was actually took a little leave of absence, strictly dealing with a couple copyright issues on the channel from some older videos, but we're good now. Getting back on track. This is a battle that honestly, I'm going to find myself probably updating yearly because Thor and Superman get so much new information, new feats all the time that you honestly got to revisit it. And today we are doing Immortal Thor from his current run versus All In Superman. We're going to base this off what both are currently pulling off, how they are portrayed, and we're going to talk about who I think wins. This video is sponsored by my good pal Raffles, also sponsored a Majik video that will be coming soon. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So first, we are going to talk about Immortal Thor. What makes Immortal Thor such a fascinating aspect to this battle, right? What makes it different than the typical Thor Superman battles we do? Well, the levels and access of power that current Thor has is honestly unrivaled by other Thors we've seen in the past. And let me explain. First, he has his matured and realized Thor force. This force, if you look into it historically in Marvel, honestly is scarier than the Odin Force because Thor can just take it further. And if you're asking me, is just simply the superior warrior and superior god to his father Odin. Of course, in the context of Marvel. Now, on top of his own matured Thor force, he also has the Odin force. Of course, Odin's always taking a nap. Bitch ass is dead right now. We got the Odin force. We also have the touch of flame from the Phoenix force. Now, if you don't know the stock of current Phoenix, Phoenix just destroyed someone that was stated to potentially be a threat to Toa, or as at least someone that intrigued and was a mystery, which is, of course, the Enigma. So he's touched by an unreal being like the Phoenix Force, carries some of that flame. And then he has the power of Gaia, with Gaia being an elder god, beings that existed before even stories themselves. On top of that, we're not even done there. He has his rune magic. That's right. Thor has absolutely accessed rune magic and has easily the best teacher in the game when it comes to that. And who is that? God of Stories Loki, a being so powerful that he went to the God Quarry, which of course Thanos saw that place as like a GG if you make it there in Marvel, and casually bullied Robbie Reyes once he was there. It's an absurd thing. A house of ideas, he can easily access, manipulate all these things. Loki straight up says with rune magic, with how strong Thor is, he's Loki's superior even in that field. He just doesn't know it yet. And then he also has the complete realized power of Zeus. Straight up chain snatched him. It's ridiculous how many power sources and methods Thor can call upon at this current point. He has regular magic, he has rune magic, story magic. He's created weapons that can cut through even stories and narratives themselves. He is stated to be able to survive his own death, even the death of his story. If there is no story, Thor will still live on. He has slain elder gods, even when weakened, and he did not want to, but he does have the strength to straight up end an elder god who, of course, existed before even the stories and narratives were portrayed. So to be able to permanently kill an abstract being of that nature, it's insane. Just straight up. His BFR's absurd. He can send you to the yawning void. He can impress the Thor force upon others, literally started his own Thor core. It's insane. Like this Thor is highly capable, highly dangerous, and he was straight up saying, keep in mind, he's existing in a time of beings like Fractured Sun, Robbie Reyes, all these powerhouses, and Robbie's back. And he's still straight up stated to be the one that tips the balance of Earth. Like if everything goes down, Thor is the only one that can clutch up and tip the balance, which is an insane narrative implication with Thor, but one that, given his current story, kind of tracks. So that's who we have on one side. This absurdly powerful version of Thor, immortal Thor. Is it enough for all in Superman? Let's discuss what all in Superman entails. Now, we know our typical stories on Superman. I've covered Superman at great lengths on this channel. And if you want more information on All In Superman and what exactly they are doing with him right now, uh, definitely check out my other videos on him, including the ones with Time Trapper Doomsday, King of Hell Doomsday, all that. All In Superman essentially exists in a universe that sort of amalgamates the other versions of Superman. It's like this is beyond a point in DC where essentially everything was somewhat made canon. And Superman is essentially the epitome of everything he's really been before. Now, this is a Superman who has perhaps his most blatantly important cosmic role at this point. Now, if you don't know who the Time Trapper is, the Time Trapper is this being in DC that essentially goes around creation and judges all of creation in terms of viewership. And what makes Time Trapper so fascinating is this insanely powerful being has been portrayed by different characters throughout time. Superboy Prime was one example. Now we have Doomsday. And Doomsday, upon approaching this version of Superman, stated, there's this philosophy in DC that when everything ends, the only things that will exist is the Time Trapper and the Son of Krypton, the last hope, Superman. Now, what makes this even crazier is there's the King of Hell Doomsday, right? This is a Doomsday that essentially went to hell and adapted to everything. Was the craziest thing we've seen in hell, and you know narratively what that implication is. It was to the point that First of the Fallen could not act because he would have to don a suit that was only made to go to war with the presence himself. So you have a Doomsday that's breaking out, straight up breaks out of hell, beats up a Supergirl who was wearing that suit and a Martian Manhunter. They used all the hell to keep him temporarily sealed in there. Still breaks the seal. Get out. He pulls up on Superman, folded, one punch, bang. Adapts, evolves, comes back. Still can't put down this version of Superman. Still gets the paws put on him. When Superman gets mad, beats the hell out of him, and they eventually sedate this version of Doomsday. Keep in mind how powerful this Doomsday is, and Superman was ragdolling him. And what makes it even worse, Time Trapper Doomsday states that he can go outside the plan. He can go outside of God himself. Almost gives you a little bit of reminiscing on the old Lucifer run when he's trying to escape God's vision and plan. Well, when we look at this, he straight up says, Superman, the only way I can ascend all of this, is for you to kill me one last time. Which shouldn't be possible, but it's fucking Superman. On top of this, in the latest previews, we're showing him putting the pause on Time Trapper Doomsday. Okay? So, in short, this Superman, this current Superman, is the strongest base Superman we have seen. I mean, he was brawling with a Bizarro that absorbed DC's strongest foundational magic. It's absurd what this Superman is capable of as the hope, the last son of Krypton. An absolute monster. Is it enough though to take on the immortal Thor? So let's just talk about this, fellas. Let's gather around the campfire and just talk about how we really feel about this matchup. So it's a bit of a weird feeling for me, honestly, because I want to say historically on my channel, I've always kind of leaned Superman. I think in terms of this specific matchup, I've always kind of been on the side of Superman in terms of favoring him, usually, especially for speed. But this Thor is so broken. Everything from the narrative magic to the different weapons he has, all the different power sources he's pulling from, what he's capable of, what he's supposed to represent in Marvel. I think this is the most on par they've ever been. If you were to ask me who I think wins, I don't know. I'd call it a draw. But if I think they're kind of relative with all things being said with the powers and whatnot, I do think Thor has more weapons in his arsenal. literally and figuratively. The one thing I won't go for, I don't think either's going to kill each other narratively. I don't think either would put each other down permanently. I don't think they're able to. I think these two have become too strong cosmically to permanently be put down. But in the scrap, the initial scrap between these two, I guess I slightly favor Thor, but it's so tough to call, and I completely understand if you lean either side. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We're still watching both of them cook. I mean, we might watch Superman kill Time Trapper Doomsday and then pull up on presents. I don't know. Shit's getting real. We might see Thor body everyone, continue to body Elder Gods, going beyond the story itself, all that shit. It's getting wild, but I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who do you currently favor between these two monsters? I don't think you can really give a wrong answer, but you can give bad reasoning. So I want to see what y'all's reasoning is. But, anyways, thank you so much for watching. It has been your host, Dr. Splash. And remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.